Hey YouTubers, it's the Anonymous Reality TV blogger. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm going to be reviewing Love Island Australia Season 3, Episode 11. As you can tell in my voice, I'm a little sad. There was a double elimination today. As we knew from last night's teaser. The episode, however, started off with picking up of Zoe and Nicholas recoupling with Chris and Courtney. And then also later in the evening, Tina and Mitch were sleeping outside on the daybed since they're currently not in a couple. And then we saw in the middle of the night, Emily goes into Taku's bed to start increasing the flirting and everything else with him. And so then basically the next morning, Tina has a word with Taku, like as far as she doesn't feel that Emily's here for the right reasons or that she's being genuine. She doesn't see how Emily can just go from being all in on Mitch this entire time to now saying she has all these feelings for Taku. So she had some concerns, and Taku is like, he feels he's not sure things are genuine, but then he keeps meeting up with Emily, and Emily keeps trying to like reassure him that she's there for the right reasons or whatever. So then there was like a weird segment where somebody might have peed in the pool and they were making a song about it. And then also it was awkward because there was a conversation with Tina, Nicholas, and Ronnie where Ronnie basically said that he was just going to continue to milk things here to try to stay on the show, basically. So basically he was going to talk to Emily or talk to whomever he could to basically continue to stay in the game. So he was like in total game mode. And so Tina had an issue with that. And it was like, that's not cool, this and that. Like, you don't want to play with people's emotions like this or whatever, or pretend just to be on the show. And so Ronnie was all like, well, relax. And then Tina just lost it. She was like, this is not okay. Don't tell somebody to be relaxed, because then it's like you fire them up as a result. And so then Tina left and went into the girls' dressing room and kind of just, relayed the conversation that Ronnie intends on milking, whatever connection so that he doesn't have to go home. And it's like all the girls obviously are pissed off, because, Tina's like, these are my friends. Like, how can you say stuff like that? So, that kind of left a sour taste in her mouth on that. And then from there, there was a text message for a challenge for the Forbidden Fruit Challenge, which is basically similar, to mean tweets that happens in every franchise where the Islanders get to basically see what the public thinks about them. So really the people who got it the worst, I would say Jess, basically that she can't make a decision and keeps picking random people. Also, I like the Mitch one. I thought that one was good, that he was like crying like a little bee between two women. I cracked up at that one. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know what was going on when the option of who the hottest female bombshell was, and that the girls need to watch out. I thought it would be between Emily and Zoe. Why they decided to give the apple to Lexi was completely hilarious. And I was like, you guys do not know what you're talking about. And then the one with Aaron that if Eminem and Ellen DeGeneres had a baby, it would be him. Like, that was low-key kind of funny. And then also to just give Taku the money already. And Taku's up here saying in the confessional that, he needs a lady to win. And it's like, no, you don't. You can be in a couple, but you could choose to take the money for yourself if that's like, what the situation is. And so then also they wanted to also indicate that, Ronnie, basically he's best looking, when he keeps his mouth shut. And then Australia exposed Courtney that she was basically in love with Nick the instant he got there. So she was like all in her feelings or whatever. And then Australia was basically trying to tell Tina that, Mitch is a red flag. And so she's like all in on him now and, thinks that it's still going to be a green light. So that was kind of the gist of the game. Essentially, people had to bob for apples, and then they would take off basically whatever the corresponding number was. on the billboard, and then if it was like a Twitter or an Instagram or Facebook post, and then they would basically have to then go mouth to mouth with like the apple of which islander of the opposite sex they thought it was talking about. And then it was like this little serpent snake thing. It would like kind of move to the person on the wheel that they were discussing, which was kind of the gist of it all. We didn't see anything about Ari really on there. And I don't think there was really anything on there about Lexi either that we saw in the edit. So those were the main things on that. So after the game, the girls kind of debrief. And then, Ronnie tells the guys he's going to go over and apologize for earlier about the things that he said to Tina, but just apologize to all the girls if he's at any point in time made them feel uncomfortable or what have you. And so then he goes over there, and I think it was Tina or somebody that was like, don't come over here now. We're still in the middle of a girls' chat, blah, blah, blah. And then it was Zoe who was like, listen, he's already over here. Let's hear what he has to say. And then, and then we can just continue on. And so I thought, that was fine. And so Ronnie apologized. He said sometimes he doesn't think before whatever comes out of his mouth. And he knows sometimes that there might have been things that he said and done that might have been offensive to the females. And he wanted them to know that he is genuinely sorry. And, if they would accept his apology and that's not, how he wanted to, behave or portray himself or what have you. And then ends up like hugging all of the girls. And then also, pretty much Ari had said that Ronnie gave her the ick. So whatever that connection was or wasn't, it basically was done, by, the following morning from, the previous night when they showed in the last episode that Ari and Ronnie really weren't connecting. But Ari's main issue was she felt that Ronnie was just more into himself than anything else. And, that was a turnoff for her, and the fact that he's not making an effort with her, basically. So she felt as though there's really nothing that she can move forward with in terms of Ronnie. If he's just basically going to be all about himself. So after that, they get ready for the evening. And then Taku pulls Lexi and Courtney for another chat about Emily to see what their thoughts are. And they're basically telling him the same thing that Tina told him earlier, which was they have some concerns about Emily. They don't feel that she's here for the right reasons. They feel something's off. They feel, how can you be about Mitch this entire time? And then literally switch up the second that he chooses Tina. Because if that was the case, if you knew this entire time that Mitch was torn between two women, why didn't you, pursue things also with Taku and get to know him as well? You put all your eggs into Mitch's basket. And now all of a sudden you're trying to be all over Taku. And then the girls also pointed out, they're like, she says she's into you, but any other time she's always flirting with Ryan and she's still flirting with Mitch. So it's like, how could she really be all into you like that? How can her feelings just change like that? And so Taku, he's like, on the one end, he wants to believe what they're saying. But then on the other end, the naughty person of him, he really wants to see where things go because he's physically attracted to Emily. And so then Emily pulls him. And then they just like have this like weird, very weird, slow and sensual kiss that was just kind of was just giving me the ick because I just knew it wasn't genuine. And even like Chris and the other guys, were talking, and then they kind of just stopped and looked, and it was just very bizarre. So then after that, they get the text message for all of the Islanders to go to the fire pit. The girls received text messages first, basically letting them know that of the two new couples since Courtney and Nicholas and Chris and Zoe, they've only been a couple for less than 24 hours, that basically nothing was going to happen to them. They were going to be safe, so that the girls had to decide on a guy to send home and had to deliberate basically with everyone except for Courtney and Zoe. So basically after that, the girls went to go deliberate on who they felt should stay. So they went through basically all of the guys, and Tina, advocated for Mitch. Lexi, of course, advocated for Ryan and their connection. Also, they kind of were back and forth on Taku because they felt like, he just hasn't found the right person, and he also hasn't let his walls down. Also, they've advocated for Aaron, that him and Jess, had something going. So pretty much it was really down to Ronnie or Taku. And so they basically felt both were a ball of energy, but they also felt that Ronnie has been a little bit immature. He really hasn't had a true romantic connection in the experience. Versus Taku, there's still an opportunity for him to find love. And so then they don't tell you yet, like, who they decide to send home. And so then they text the guys and tell the guys, hold up. Like, the girls aren't going to they can't voice who they're sending home yet because you guys have to decide on what girl is going to get sent home. So then the guys go deliberate, with the exception of Chris and Nicholas. So the guys go deliberate. They go over each of the women. Mitch, of course, is not sending home Tina. Also, Aaron was not going to be sending home Jess. Also, they were not going to be sending home as well Lexi, because that's Ryan's bae or whatever. And so really it came down to Ari and Emily. And so really 4 out of the 5 guys basically said that Ari needed to stay there, that she still hasn't found her person yet, and it would still be a good opportunity for her to still find love. But then it was weird because Mitch sort of changed up and was really trying to advocate for Emily, that, after what he just put her through, that she doesn't deserve to go, and that since Arya was there from the beginning, she, has already had her chance, which I think is crap. It's like she can't help who has and hasn't come into the villa. And then also Taku surprised me because he was basically saying that since Ari didn't have any connection, that, she can go and he can pursue things with Emily, which I think is a crock. And then Ronnie, of all people, is the one who's defending Ari, who's, going on and saying she's been single for 7 years. This is the perfect place for her to thrive. There's still opportunity for more guys to come into the villa for her to still find a connection, versus the thing with Emily. Even Aaron said that there was something about Emily that just didn't sit right with them. They didn't feel she was there for the genuine reasons. And I thought Emily was going to be eliminated. Like, it made complete sense. And so then everybody gets back to the fire pit, and they have the girls reveal their decision first. And all of this is like via text message. Sophie wasn't there. And Tina basically, says who she's going to eliminate and why, and basically says that the boy that they're going to eliminate is because they felt that even though he's a ball of energy, that he essentially hasn't progressed as the other men have in their relationships in the villa, and so felt that that journey should come to an end. So it was ultimately Ronnie that the girls decided on sending home. And so Ronnie, for the most part, was a good sport about it, even though people started crying. So he was like, don't cry, you're going to make me cry. He's like, I'm happy about my journey and this and that. And so then Mitch stands up for the guys to reveal the girl that they're sending. And so I just felt bad because the camera kept panning between Emily and Ari, but Ari was like clearly having a breakdown because I think she had a feeling it was probably going to be her. But then I didn't like what Mitch said. Mitch was like, oh, well, this person, they've been here since the beginning, but they've kind of had their chance already. And I was like, no, like, do we need to rewind what happened? Ari was into Ryan, and then, Lexi took him, and Ari still had unresolved feelings for Ryan, but Ryan had moved on. And, like, then she had to get in a friendship couple with Aaron, because there was the love triangle business with Jess, Aaron, and Taku. So it's like, Ari really, when is the last guy that came into the villa that was all about her? So they say that ultimately Ari is going to go and be eliminated, and the girls are pissed. Like, all the girls, sans Emily, are like pissed. They cover around Ari, and they're crying. Courtney's pissed. She's saying to Ryan, like, WTF. Ari's really upset because she's really close with Jess, and basically was like, I thought these guys had my back. I'm really close to the guys. Like, what happened? So all the girls are just like shocked, and they're like, how can they not see that Emily's not here for the right reasons, and how could they send Ari home over her, and this and that, and that she thought that the guys were, really going to ride for her. And it was just bad. It was very bad, very embarrassing. None of the guys went after her. They basically stood behind to like give a pep talk to Ronnie, of all people. Like, none of the so-called guys that were all about Ari, how do you all say that you want her to stay, but then you send her home? So I don't think this is going to end well. Karma always comes back around on these shows one way or the other. I feel bad for Ari because, again, this is the third Indian contestant this season that has not had a good showing on Love Island. And I just don't think it's fair. Even on Love Island UK, there was still an opportunity for, Kaz and Aaron, even this past season, to still have an opportunity to still find love. And this whole thing where we're just going to just send people home just because they didn't find love in a quick enough amount of time when there's still opportunities for people to come in was just bogus. And then to do this right before Casa Amor is even more bogus. So in saying that, there's likely another elimination because on the preview, it shows Sophie back, and she says basically Australia has been voting and that somebody is going. So I don't know if it's going to be one or two people, but I have a feeling it's likely going to probably be a girl that goes, which would not shock me. But it just kind of agitates me because I feel for the most part, Ari should have at least stayed until Casa Amor. I felt like with Emily, she came in hot. She had an opportunity to really shake things up, but then she only zoned in on Mitch, who was pretty much, in a real serious situation with Tina. She did not take that opportunity to get to know any of the other men. And then basically the instant Mitch dumped her, she just was all over Taku, but it just was never genuine. And it's coming off is just as a fake sexual attraction just to stay on the show, and watch her come back with somebody from Casa Amor. I already know it's going to happen. And I'm just really disappointed in Taku because I thought he could read the room these past 3 weeks that none of these women are interested in him romantically, and that he could have his own fresh start with Casa Amor and be in a friendship couple or whatever with Ari until they both find people. Like, I thought that was like an obvious route to take, to be in a friendship couple with Ari until you each find somebody who's really about you. And all these other shenanigans are just bogus, and I just don't think it's going to end well for Taku. He was my winner pick, but I honestly see him getting played. I see Emily dumping Taku at the first opportunity that she finds, her next Mitch. So, more to come on that. Please let me know your thoughts. I'm still a little bit upset. I literally was in tears when they said Ari's name because I was just so in disbelief. I was like, are we really just kicking out the OGs like this? Like, is this what we're really doing? So it was just very unfortunate. And so of course Mitch isn't an OG, so he's not thinking like an OG. He's thinking about, his own agenda, and he probably still wants Emily there for him to flirt with and look at. So I was just done. I don't know who's next to be eliminated. I hope it's Emily, because I am just so agitated, and I'm really curious to see, which of these couples are going to stay faithful during Casa Amor, specifically with Ryan and Lexi, if they're really going to make it through all of this. So with that being said, that's all I have. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys soon. Talk to you later.